Ideally, I like to do this quarterly. I haven't done one for this year. I did one last year. What's going on across the United States, we have a lot of people hearing different things. Some people saying home prices are high, they're low, but we know real estate is regional. The West Coast and the Southeast, Florida's going to be different. New York's going to be different. California's going to be different. But we get people all the time, they call me and they say, hey, Noye, we saw your video. We want to know, what should we do with our money? We're thinking about retiring. We want to put our money in a safe place, and we don't want to worry about home prices increasing dramatically, and we don't want to overpay. In today's video, we're going to break it down. We're going to go do a deep dive. I want to show you what the regional MLS is showing for the median home price, the average home price, and also the supply and demand, because even though that home prices are decreasing in certain price points, they're also increasing and stable in other price points. We have 5 categories. We talk about supply and demand. We're going to talk about price value. We're going to talk about the economy, and we're going to talk about interest rates. Also, the affordability here in the Midwest. In this video, this will not be a prediction video. I don't believe in predictions because no one has a crystal ball. So let's get right into it with supply and demand. So I wanted to bring up this chart just so you can see each price point for homes for sale on the market. As you can see, $75,000 and below. Last year, there were 48 homes that were $75,000 below. This year's 29. Between $75,000 and $100,000, there were 25 homes that were sold in the month of June. Last year was 45. We see that were 33 homes for sale between 100 and 125, and then between 125 and 150, there were 42 homes for sale. But I want to draw your attention to the most competitive price point in our market is between 150 and 300,000. You see there was an increase. So the last couple price points, there were less homes for sale on the market, as you notice. And then look at this. Homes that were priced at $300,000 and above, we had 351 homes listed for sale in 2022 for the month of June. It's up almost 46%, 512. So again, when we're talking about home prices decreasing, we're not saying home prices decrease at or above 300,000, not as much because homes that are above 300,000 are in the more desirable neighborhoods. This also accounts for the bulk of the new construction homes. We're also showing there was an increase. So previously the resale homes are about the same from last year. It was 710 homes that were resale from last year. This year we're showing 714. But look at this. We're up 82.9% from last year from new construction. 236 homes were for sale in the month of June. When you're talking about 300,000, we're talking about homes that are newer and in desirable neighborhoods. There are not price decreases in those areas. And that's something that we really need to ask, is the difference of supply and the demand in the areas in which a lot of people want to move. We've got 99% of the country whose mortgages are under 6%, 85% of the mortgage that are under 5%, and 28% of the country is under 3%. And approximately 40% of the homes in the United States don't even have a mortgage at all. So when you take that into consideration, inventory levels are low because resale homes are not on the market. We're down 12%. So we talked about the supply issue, but now let's talk about the demand. What's driving demand? You might think 7% interest rates, that's gonna shut down the market, but that hasn't actually stifled demand. And that's because most of the times when people are moving, they're moving in this market, they're moving because they have to. One area where we're seeing demand remain high is with retirees. As I talked about in my last video, retirees are not gonna stop high interest rates from letting them move into the last phase of their life, finding a house that works best for them. Also, these buyers sometimes are able to pay cash completely for the house, so they're not even worried about the interest rates typically. Like we discussed, almost 40% of the homes here in the United States don't have a mortgage at all, so those are coming from retirees transferring equity from one house to another. We have 2 types of buyers: those people who want to move and those people who have to move. First-time home buyer, they're really looking for turnkey property. The turnkey properties are really the cat's meow of the market. Homes that have been updated, the windows, the flooring, the kitchens, the bathroom. So if you're a growing family, maybe you just had a baby and you're looking to grow a little bit, those people have to move. They can no longer sustain living where they currently live with their family growing. they're going to move into the market, they need to move in ready, turnkey property. They don't want to have to put any money into fixing a roof. They've got a new baby. The other life event you see is divorce. And this one you think would help the inventory, but what it does is actually, it ends up hurting the inventory. And the reason being is because if you take two people who are in one home and they split, they have to go their separate ways. And now you have two housing needs. Oh, by the way, if we haven't met yet, my name is Downpayment. I'm a local real estate agent. Me and my wife, Francesca, help people move to, from, and around Fort Wayne. If you're looking to move to Fort Wayne, my contact information is below. Without further ado, let's get back into the video. The next segment we're going to talk about is price and value. The median price and the average price. A lot of people are looking at those two things. The median price is around about $220,000. The average price is $260,000. There's often times when we're looking at things, we see prices going down, so that means things are cheaper. Well, that's not necessarily true. You need to look into the numbers and find out what's happening there. What prices are going down? What types of homes are we seeing decreases? Prices are going down on some houses, but they're not going down on other houses, such as new construction. Now, prices do decrease seasonally. At the beginning of the year, home prices are lower in January and February, and then they also decrease again after September. Price decreases when you're looking on Zillow or Realtor.com or something like that. Take a close look at the pictures and take a close look at the condition of that home, because if there was a price decrease, it may be because the homeowner did not update the home properly. Also, you want to take note of how quickly the homes are selling. See a house that is turnkey, you'll see how quickly that house sells, and then you'll see some other houses stay on the market for a lot longer. So median home price, let's think about this for a second. I want you to focus on price decreases in desirable areas. Places that have low crime and good school districts, you're not going to see price decreases in those homes. So when you say home prices are decreasing, which areas are they decreasing? I think sometimes people forget to consider that. There's always going to be properties that are harder to sell in certain areas, especially when we talk about aspirational pricing. Some neighborhoods, some homes are in good neighborhoods and they see their next door neighbors sell their house for, let's say, $400,000, and they list their house also for $400,000. Say it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot home, but they didn't take in consideration that they haven't put in the upgrades, the windows, the kitchens, the bathrooms. Even though it's in a good neighborhood, they did not update the home, and those homes also sit. We have to make sure we're looking at price compared to value and consider why those homes are decreasing. But most people recognize the high demand areas and they're willing to take on the higher interest rates. So homes in the higher desirable areas, people are moving into those neighborhoods and they're paying the higher interest rates, which keeps those areas competitive. But as I said earlier in the video, no one has a crystal ball. I can't predict that home prices are going to continue to go up. The national average is 4% annually for home prices increasing. And right now we're just at 4% in July. By October, there's a good chance that home prices here in Fort Wayne may dip below the February and March price point. If homes continue to decrease, let's say in November, we may actually be in a price decrease. But right now, homes are still worth more than they were in January and February. So keep in mind when you're trying to achieve that goal of home ownership, it's like the old adage, when's the best time to plant an oak tree? 100 years ago. Well, when's the next best time to plant an oak tree? Well, that's right now. And that's the same thing for owning real estate. You probably don't know anyone who's owned real estate for 10 years who's upset that they made that decision. You most certainly don't know anyone who bought real estate 20 years ago and held on to it who's upset about that decision. So now that you know what home prices are like in Fort Wayne as we are in the middle of the year, I recorded this video on the last day of July, so we're now in Q3. You can expect coming up in for the rest of the year. Keep in mind that there are going to be seasonal decreases in home prices. Homes prices always go down as we approach Christmas because there are less people looking to move. Most people are settled down by Thanksgiving, so you'll be able to get homes for slightly less than you would have been able to purchase them in July. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath is going to sell for slightly less than it did in the month of June and July. Check out my last video where I talk about the 5 reasons why people move to Fort Wayne, the types of people that like to move to Fort Wayne, and I'll see you there.